Hello, YouTube. It's me, Annabeth Chase123, with a somewhat of a big announcement. Starting today, I'm going to start doing review videos as well as my usual AMVs, except I'm going to be using this channel, not my usual channel, Annabeth Chase123. I'm also going to be doing some rants and some feminist stuff, maybe some gamer stuff. I don't know. Now, depending on what I feel like doing. Okay, with that out of the way, this is my first review video, and I'm doing it on Malefecent. Malefecent, for those who require backstory, is the villain from Sleeping Beauty. And the film Malefecent is actually about Sleeping Beauty from her point of view. That alone made it very interesting for me. What made it more interesting was it brought up a very important question which I find Disney doesn't really touch. Just who is the real villain? Because with Disney, it's too obvious who's the hero and who's the villain. And I'm sorry, life isn't like that, and that always bugged me about Disney when I got older, which is why I'm starting to really like the newer Disney films, like Toy Story 3, Frozen. I love Brave. As much as I love Princess and the Frog, it didn't do this, but it was still better than the old original princess films. Okay, back to Maleficent. Basically, with Maleficent, the whole gist of it was Maleficent fell in love with this human boy as a kid, and she was a fairy thing. No, she was just a fairy. However, this kid, they fell in love. Oh wait, I might have said that already, damn. And however, as they got older, this kid started to become more ambitious and more, to put it bluntly, of an asshole. Somebody had to say it. So, what he does is the king, well, the first king, gets humiliated by Maleficent because he stages an attack on her to steal her jewels. Well, the jewels from her kingdom. They're not exactly her jewels, and I'm not sure if it's her kingdom, because in the beginning of the film, they mentioned a king. However, we never saw the fairy king at all, which was kind of odd when she was rising to power and taking the throne. So she fended him and all his men. So, on with the story, she fended the human king and all his men off, but just by herself, and maybe a few tree people. The old king wasn't so pleased about this, so he put a ransom on her head. Basically, anyone who killed her became king, and would marry his daughter, which just adds insult to injury to Maleficent, because well, he doesn't kill her because I don't know why he stopped midway from killing her. Maybe he had some remnants of feelings left in him for her, but that did not change out what he did to her was actually worse than death. He tricked her into drinking a sleeping potion, and while she was asleep, he cut her wings off. Now, of course, no human, like none of us, can understand how that feels because we've been walking for years and we will never know flight, but I can guess having flight taken away from Maleficent was like being paralyzed or something, because her movement was a lot more limited. So, over the years, she started stalking her ex, who became king. And she became very vengeful, and the crow that she had was actually a crow she saved, and then she gave him she didn't give him the ability to change into whatever he wanted. She changed him into whatever she wanted, and that way she could use him to whatever her advantage was. So, from that big, deep, dark backstory, one day, as she's getting the crow man thing to spy on the king, her ex, she discovers that a baby is born, a new princess. What I loved when she figured this out was Angelina Jolie brilliantly showed all the heartbreak that anyone in that situation would be feeling. Like, not only did the guy, like, betray her and rip off her wings, but he also married someone else and had a kid with her. That's just adding insult to injury right there. So, I know a lot of people would say I'm psycho for saying this, but I do not blame Maleficent for what she did next. Like, I mean, how could she celebrate any of that? Like, the kid, his wife, even his job, because all of that would be a constant reminder of how she lost her wings, and that's what I find so fascinating about this show, is because nothing she did was unwarranted. However, I can't say anything right now because I'll spoil it later. Okay. So, we all know the story of Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent shows up, does a big speech, and then curses Aurora to prick herself on a spinning wheel and put her into a death-like sleep on her 16th birthday. Well, this was actually brilliantly written in Maleficent because that day must have been the day that hurt her the most, or that lingered most in her mind, was her 16th birthday, because on Maleficent's 16th birthday, the king, Aurora's father, said that he would give her the kiss of true love and would always be with her. However, we all know that didn't work out because he's a dick. Okay, so this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Aurora gets raised by the 30 fairies, blah blah blah. But what we don't know, what's shown in Maleficent, is that Maleficent was always watching her. She fed her when she was a baby, and the fairies were so incompetent they were trying to feed her carrots and radishes. She saved her from falling off a cliff. And although the crow is the only one who has any clue what's going on, he's like, "You're getting soft." Well, he doesn't say that, but it's easy. But what's good about it, what separates the good actors from the great actors, is they read between the lines of the story. And what the actor who played the crow did was he basically acted like he knew about the ending. So basically, Maleficent watches Aurora grow until she's around 12, I think. So that is when they meet for the first time, and Aurora mistakes Maleficent for her fairy godmother. And Maleficent takes her to the world of the fairies. And over time, until her 16th birthday, Maleficent starts feeling feelings of kinship and motherhood towards Aurora. However, when she tries to undo the curse, she forgets that she put on the "no power on earth can break this curse" thing, so she can't remove it. Of course, and when she tells Aurora what she did and who she really is, of course Aurora's really upset. Which, if I had written that story, I would have had Maleficent explain to Aurora why she did what she did. However, I guess that would have taken away from her goodness as a character. So, 16th birthday, we all know the story. She meets Prince Philip, she goes to the castle, she pricks herself. Rest is history. No, actually, in Maleficent, that is not history. Because, yes, Prince Philip does show up. Yes, he does kiss her. However, it's not true love's kiss, unlike the film, which I always thought was a bit unrealistic because they only met for like 5 minutes, and it was a bit ridiculous. Just, no, you cannot fall in true love in 5 minutes. I mean, I'm sorry. And not at 16. Like, there are the odd couples who've, like, been together since high school. If you guys are watching this, no offense to you guys, I'm really happy for you guys, but you guys are such an anomaly that it should not be portrayed in a kids' show as an ordinary thing. Now that I've said that, all this whole time while Prince Philip kissed her, Maleficent was hiding somewhere in the room. And the true love's kiss actually came from Maleficent when she kissed Aurora on the forehead. Nobody said the true love's kiss had to be on the lips. So, right after that, Aurora clearly says that she wants to live in the fairy world. So, Maleficent starts to take her there. However, they're stopped by Aurora's dick father, who basically nearly kills Maleficent until she gets her wings back. I guess it's some kind of fairy magic that activated them when Maleficent was in a certain distance of them, and Aurora broke the glass, and they got loose, and they got on her, and it turned into a big, epic battle. And after that, Aurora lived in the fairy kingdom, lived happily ever after, and even Prince Philip was there. Except it wasn't, bam, I've just met you, I love you. It was more realistic. So, after that summary, I think it's time that I sum up all the pros and cons of that film. Pro. It questioned what Disney's been teaching us for like a decade, or no wait, definitely more than a decade, like since TV first came out. That the only true love is love with a significant other, when in reality, true love is more likely to be found between family members. I really like that about it. Con. Maleficent's character. No, that it was actually pro. Let me think of a con. Even though this film is a lot better than a lot of sappy princess films with horrible messages, I'll make another video with a rant about those if you guys want. But sorry, what was my train? Unfortunately, those sappy Disney films are suitable for children, while Maleficent is not. Yeah, there's not a lot of blood or violence, but there's a whole scene where Maleficent is like screaming in pain and walking around without her wings. Which, okay, as a kid, I would have been cool with that, but I watched Jurassic Park when I was 2, so yeah, I'm a bit odd. Another pro. It showed us that not all villains are born. They're made through horrible circumstances of people being general asses to them, and that's never been shown in Disney before. And I love that they finally did that, because I've gone through some bad stuff, and I've actually fantasized getting revenge on the people who've put me through pain and suffering, and like, because I want revenge, why should I feel guilty for getting back on someone who hurt me? I mean, that's just not right, because you're letting the real jackass going free. Like, who wants that? Pro. It showed that Maleficent's character wasn't all bad when she confessed everything she did to Aurora and adopted her and basically tried to fix what she did. And in the end, she actually did fix what she did, and I really respect that. Yeah, the only other con I can think of is that there was no character development between the Queen and Maleficent's ex. Like, the guy, instead of going crazy, the guy should have sat down with his wife and said, hey, look, I'm sorry, I kinda screwed with a fairy before I met you. However, to become king and to marry you, I kinda had to chop off her wings. No, wait, that's not how that conversation would went. This is how it would go. Rewind. Yeah, I was actually supposed to kill her, but I couldn't because I still love her. And the thing is, I really want to be king, and so I only chopped off her wings. Isn't that big of a deal, right, sweetie? I mean, sure, our daughter's cursed, but that's no big of a deal. Yeah, the king was an awful, awful character. Not because he was a dick, but because he was so underdeveloped. I mean, and if that wasn't bad enough, the queen was a background character at best. And even so, we only saw her for like 5 minutes at her baby's birth. That's just not even the birth, the party where everyone brought gifts. So, yes, those are my thoughts on Maleficent. Please comment what you thought of my review, what I missed, and things you might want me to review next. Now, next, I might be reviewing one of my. Well, since I had a very good review with this one, I think I might, next time I do this, might be tomorrow, might not be, I'm going to do it when I feel like it. Although I'm going to try to do these things as often as I can, because as I said, these things are going to work as they. I'm going to post these things as soon as I get ideas, and I have a lot of ideas, so I'm probably going to post like daily for a while, maybe even twice a day. But as soon as my ideas start dwindling, I'm going to like start not posting for a while, and then I'll like watch something and I'll be like, oh yeah, it was cool, or it wasn't cool, it was okay. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Live long and prosper, and have a good day.